Always a delight to have Coach Wannstedt here in studio, especially with his dear friend Tony Wise with him as well, the former Bears offensive line coach. And guys, we talked to Olin Kreutz earlier in the show, and we should have told Olin that the two of you would be in here because you made that guy money, like more money than most men ever will make, both in Chicago and then
with the Dolphins.
With the Dolphins, you made him an offer, and the Bears had to cough up.
He's the greatest. Yeah, I remember in preseason we were pursuing him, and the guys down in the Dolphins thought we had a chance. I said, "Please, guys." And he did. He walked up and said, "Tony, boy, I got to thank you very much." He's the greatest. Yeah.
He's the greatest. Is right. So listen, the Bears win a game. Not easy to win in the NFL. They've now won 3 games in a row. Pretty extraordinary to get that done with a new coach, etc.
Absolutely. And on the road, and the conditions last night were horrible. Let's face it. It's something you're not yet. Do you practice with a wet football? Absolutely. Everybody does. But, the conditions, a lot of crazy things can happen. And, the Bears come up with 3 turnovers. And I gotta say this, you got to take advantage of those. Sure, everybody would like to get 21 points off of 3 turnovers, but I think the Bears got 13 points, and it was the difference in the game. So they did take advantage of the turnovers, which was a big part. No one seems to be talking about that enough, but it was really the difference in winning and losing that game at the end.
So. Dave, how good do you think the Bears really are? 3 in a row. Obviously, the Raiders on the road came down to the final kick, and it was one of those things. You win last night against a playoff team, and you start to you build this belief. Every new coach, every new regime needs that kind of confidence. But now you look at your schedule. Handling success could be what the Bears are one of the biggest challenges because the schedule looks forgiving. The next 4 opponents, they have 6 combined victories. How good is this Bears team?
I think we're a good team. Would we be at the top of the league right now? Probably not, in all honesty.
Playoff team? Playoff consideration?
Yes, absolutely playoff consideration.
You think they are?
Just look at the record in our division. I mean, we're right there with everybody. And we're getting better. The one thing, when you win, you talk about winning the game at the end against the Raiders and winning this game at the end. We have a very gritty, tough-minded football team. And that goes, yes, it starts with the coaches, but then it goes to the leaders of your team, too. I mean, there's a no-quit. And as a head coach, you can stand up there and talk about, when I was at Miami, when I was at the Bears, when all these things, these guys, but you got to live it. To really believe it, you got to live it. And the Bears have won 2 games at the end, and I'll tell you what, that will help them down the road. They're going to be in a situation, again, might be this week, where they're behind in the fourth quarter, and Ben, is going to, and the coaches will be talking about, hey, we've been here, we stay with it, we'll find a way to win this game, and that's how it happens. That's how it happens. I think Washington last year won 7 one-score games. Everybody's talking about how good Washington was last year and how this and that. I mean, they were a good team, but they were in a situation like the Bears were last night, and the Bears won the game. A year ago, Washington won 7 games, one-score games, and a win is a win. So I think the Bears right now, coming out of the bye, getting a win, and then getting into this part of the schedule, I think they're sitting real good. They should be feeling real good.
Dave, the Bears got 3 takeaways last night. They had 4 the week before against the Raiders and 4 the week before that against the Cowboys.
Yep.
To be able to get 11 takeaways in 3 games is pretty astounding. I think they're the only NFL team that has a run of 3 games with 3+ takeaways. You're going to win the majority of games where you are, +3 in turnover ratio.
Absolutely. And go back to when the Bears won, 12 games? Remember with Matt Nagy?
Yes.
Whatever that year, his first
2018.
or second. 2018.
It's 2018.
2018.
Yep.
With Vic Fangio.
Last time the Bears were any good.
That's exactly right. And Vic Fangio was the defense coordinator. And you know what I remember? The first thought that comes to my mind about that year, they averaged 2 defensive takeaways a game. They led the NFL in defensive takeaways, and then they were able to.
How do you do that?
Oh, you know what? I was on football teams that were horrible, and not horrible. Don't get me wrong. When we were at Oklahoma State, we fought like hell to try to get a turnover. Okay, and it was tough, and we were doing trust me, we were doing the same drills that we did when everywhere else we coached. So it wasn't the drills or how we were coaching them. We were doing all the right things like everybody's doing. And then I leave and I go to USC, and all of a sudden we're doing the same drills, and guys are getting interceptions, and guys are causing speed, athletic ability,
talent,
aggressiveness.
But it can be coaching too, though. I mean, you can coach guys that jump routes. You can coach guys to tackle the football. You can coach that.
Yeah, you can.
Right?
But I think everybody is. I think
everybody does that.
That's my point. Everybody's coaching. We were coaching the same thing at one place or the other, but we had more talent. We had faster players, and we were more aggressive. And all of a sudden, the ball starts coming out. And
is it flukish, though? I guess is what I'm asking. Like, until Lovey came here, he preached takeaways, and they would practice like just picking the ball up and running.
Yep.
And I mean, somehow they started getting takeaways. It was weird because I always felt the beauty of football is the ball is oblong and it bounces, and you have no idea where it's going to go. And like, look at Caleb yesterday. He could have had 2 picks. There were a couple of balls, but they were, they threw them pretty hard, and they didn't make plays on them. So
if you're getting pressure, and I used, because we weren't a heavy blitz team, but we would get a lot of turnovers, obviously. And I remember telling the guys that went at Dallas, I would say, hey guys, a pressure on the quarterback can be better or as good as a sack. You know what I mean? And if those quarterbacks feel like they're going to get hit in the mouth. And I'll tell you, we were aggressive last night. We were coming after Daniels, and he was not sitting back there. I mean, I loved the defensive plan yesterday. We were very aggressive with him. And that ball, he starts forcing the ball. I don't care who you are. You don't want to get hit in the mouth repeatedly. I don't care who you are. So that has a lot to do with the turnovers, David. Just letting it go a little bit too quick.
Tony, based on your small sample size, what direction do you think this team is going?
Well, I agree everything you guys have said. You come in the locker room today, everybody's excited, and you pick out all the good stuff. Hey, we did this, we did that. So I go by how rotten other teams are. I mean, you got to have a category for Washington being idiots and dropping the ball, which is fine.
Yeah.
The fumble of 3:10 left.
In a shotgun.
The quarterback not getting the snap, and Daniels turning it over.
And again, I struggle with all this stuff. Dan Quinn's the best, and Dan Quinn has all the answers, and Jaden Daniels has all the answers, and we just dropped the ball on the ground and gave the other team a chance to win. That makes no sense.
Right.
So my point is, yes, guys are playing hard, and
yeah, they do. I love how the Bears, the mindset that they believe they can win in the fourth quarter, and that's what the NFL is all about. How many games? Forget about. I mentioned Washington won. How many games? 1-score games. I mean, that's what the NFL is. It's about 1-score games and being able to close games out when you got the lead, and when you're behind, like we were last night. It's trying to create something and get the football.
It's not fair, and it's probably not even relevant, but it is undeniable. Last year, in a similar situation, we were coming out of that game, the Fail Mary, talking about a coaching decision that led to the last play.
Yep.
Matt Eberflus did not have the right defense called. He gave up too many yards that made that possible. And this morning, we're talking about how coaching won the Bears a game on the last play. So it is as I said earlier, what a difference a year makes, but what a difference a coach makes, because those type of things are so prevalent in the NFL. One-score games, fourth quarter drama. You want to have the right coach there to make those key decisions.
Yeah, and I think that as key as anything, we talked about the defense enough. I like what Ben did at the end. We ran the ball up in there a couple of times, and it wasn't going to happen. And he just says, hey, we're trying to run the clock out. We're going to run on the edge. And they ran on the edge, and Darnell Wright did a great job of blocking.
He had a good night.
Yeah, so they ran behind our number one pick at right tackle. He was having a good night. And that's what the running back. So you got a good play design, you got a good guy blocking, and you got a running back that's what he does best, is get the ball on the edge. So yes, coaching, David, was a big part of that, and give him credit there. The officiating, you know what? I don't know. I know we're going to talk about these penalties. Right. Some of those things were so soft. Right. On both sides. I don't know how they call those things. I mean,
Montez Sweat got a roughing the passer penalty just by grazing his face mask.
He barely touched.
That was horrible. That was horrible. And so the penalties, do you have to address them as a head coach? Absolutely, you do. You show them the number, and you're not going to condone. But you got to be realistic about some of these things.
The only thing I would say about that is, when I watch this stuff, is you know that the quarterback is protected. So I look at the other way, is that if you're going to hit the quarterback in the head, you're an idiot.
But the thing is, Tony, you're right. But look at Jaquan Brisker. So he's on a blitz, and he knows that's very sensitive. You can't go high, so he goes low. He gets a flag for going low.
Horrible. I agree with you.
How do you
Horrible call.
Where do you got to go? Right at the belly button? I mean, it's a hard target to hit.
Yeah, and if you pull up, and if you're not given that type of effort that Brisker was getting, you're not going to get to the quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
I mean,
And
you have to be going with the mindset that I'm going to hit him. I'm going to get there.
I'm going to hit him on a put, and old Dick Butkus, I'm going to put him out of the game. Right. I mean, there is a point to that now.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to rip his arm off, and
he used to do it. This segment with Coach Wannstedt is sponsored by ChicagoRoofingContractors.org, providing all-weather protection for your business. Tony, to your point, it feels like the NFL is just so upside down these days. We don't know which teams are good, how hard your schedule is. The Bears looked like they had the hardest schedule in the league, and all of a sudden teams like the Ravens are losing, teams like Cincinnati have lost their quarterback. He's not coming back. All of a sudden the Bears have a more manageable schedule. I was reading online, this is a sports gambling guy, who points out the favorites have lost outright, counting last night, in 6 of the last 7 NFL primetime games. The only team that has won while being a primetime game, both the Commanders and the Bills were favored last night. The Chiefs won as a 2.5-point dog. Other than that, the Eagles, even the Chiefs on Monday Night Football, the Bills, the Rams, it is extraordinary how these scores are sort of upside down, and people in survivor pools have been eliminated for weeks because no one knows which teams are good right now.
Well, you brought up a great point about looking at the Bears schedule down the road. That's fun to do for everybody. Fans love that. But just look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's not, when this season started, we sat here and went through the divisions, and we had who's worse, them or Cleveland. But because this is going to be a runaway with Baltimore and Cincinnati and Joe Burrow. Yes. And the Steelers got a 3-game lead, I believe. And they're going to win their division.
Right.
They're going to. So at this point in the season, I mean, you start looking at it a little bit closer now, but things can change so fast in the NFL. You just can't get carried away with. It's fun to look at the schedule down the road and add up the W's. We all do that in the losses. But in the reality,
the Bills are in second place in their division after losing a game last night.
New England.
New England.
Yeah, Patriots and Drake May.
Wow.